Hello! Today's lesson is on Like Real People Do by Hozier. Let's get zoomed in. Okay, so before we go through this section by section, I think it's very helpful to know how to approach this kind of thing. So first things first, it is a finger pick track. We're going to be using our thumb on the bass note, and we're going to be using either the first or the second finger on the treble notes. Hozier actually misses out the first finger and uses those two. I actually tend to do that myself. I know that not everybody does that, so you'll have to kind of figure out a way with these fingers. But the important thing is that the thumb stays on the bass note. And what's actually going on, if you listen very carefully, I'll just play the first little bit. You'll notice that bass line is continuous. And that bum, 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 bum goes all the way through the song, and the melody sits on top of it. Ba, da, 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 da. Okay, so you've got those two parts, the bottom and the top, and they come together to form the song. So just bear that in mind. But that bass note is just continuous all the way through. So let's get on to the first bit, which is the very, very start of the intro, and we simply pick the 3rd fret of the low E 9 times. With our thumb. Easy peasy. And then our thumb carries on autopilot, and we put the melody over the top, which goes like this, and I'll play that first bit nice and slowly. So that bass note is continuous, and that's the important thing. The treble notes, okay, we've got an open high E, 3rd of the B, open B, and then we hammer on with the first finger from the open G to the 2nd, and then the open G. And then the next part, this bit's a little bit tricky. Whilst holding onto that bass note, we're going to perform 3 pull-offs, 4, 2 and 0 of the G string. Okay, that might take you a little while to get that, so you might want to just do a little repetitive movement to get the hang of it. Okay, and then we've got the 2nd of the D, open G, open D, 2nd of the A, all while that bass note carries on. And then in the next bar, which is bar 4, we have this. And again, it's an open B, 2nd of the G, open G, and we hammer the 2nd of the D from the open D, and then it's an open G. And then in bar 5, again with that continuous bass note, and then we move on to bar 6. Now bar 6 is the same as bar number 4. And then we've got that pull off again where we hold the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, and we do those 3 pull offs. So that makes bar 7 the same as bar 3. And then we have a slight variation in bars 8 and 9, like this. So there's a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs going on there that you're going to have to kind of work on. Let's move on through. This is where the vocals come in at 24 seconds and the start of the verse. And I'll do it very slowly. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory, but we've got an open high E to the 3rd of the B, and then an open B, 2nd of the G, and an open G. And you can just look at the next bar in the tab to see what comes next. And then we get on to bars 12 and 13. Okay, and again, it's just following that melody, second of the G, open B, etc, etc. Then we're up to bar 14 and 15. And this is where the melody goes a little bit lower. And it might be a little bit tricky here because this is when the fretting hand fingers get a little bit closer together. So this is where getting right onto the tip of the finger becomes very important so that they're spaced out correctly. Otherwise you might end up with one finger on two strings, or just struggling because there's not enough, doesn't feel like there's enough room. Fortunately, you're quite low down the neck, so the frets are bigger. So that does make it a little bit easier. Then we're on to bars 16 and 17. The melody stays quite low still. Okay. And then we get into the chorus section, 55 seconds into the song. And it will go something like this. And again, it's just a question of keeping the bass note continuous, melody over the top. Then we're into bars 20 and 21. Okay, then we have a section where we're going to repeat a lot of the things we've already done. As you can see from the list on the music, it tells you what to repeat and where that is in the actual song in minutes. And then we get to the final part of the song, which is the outro, and the outro is at 2 minutes 38 seconds. And it's quite an interesting way to play over a band. You don't normally find sort of bass notes being played against what's actually going on in the bass of the rest of the song. So when you play it on your own, the harmony will sound a little bit different. But it goes like this, bars 22 and 23. Okay, and you're going to be using the second finger on the low E and the third finger on the high E. You can see there, those two fingers. I'm not using the first, I'm not using the pinky. And once we've done 22 and 23, we've obviously got 24 and 25. And that goes like this. And then bar 26 and 27. 26 is the same as 22, which is just... But then we have a really tricky bit where we've got to use these two fingers to actually slide and do a sliding triplet. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like that. Like that. It was quite tricky. So all together, those two bars. And then we're into bars 28 and 29. And then the final part is actually played with a pick. And I think it's on a banjo. That's what it sounds like. All single notes. Some of those notes drain into each other a little bit. And then we have this little rake in bar 32. And then a final rake in the final bar at the end. Like so. And you just do that with your thumb. Just rake your thumb down the strings from the A to the B string. Thanks for watching that tutorial. I really enjoyed making it. And please let me know in the comments how you get on with it. And don't forget to check out another video if you want something else to learn. A couple of other Hozier things as well. So, see ya. Bye.